Hello, welcome back to my haunted library. It's Regina. Hope you're all doing well. I'm doing okay. I'm a little disappointed because I had a whole skit planned for my Garbogust wrap up of Lace, the book, and the DVD, but I got to my studio and it is so hot. We are in the middle of a heat wave. I thought fall was here when it got a little crisp maybe is exaggerating. Got a little bit of fresh air going, stirring last week. I got excited and now we're back to 95 degrees. And the thought of putting on heavy costumes and wigs and doing this whole skit just seemed to be too much. So I'm going to skip it. Maybe I'll do it sometime in the future, or maybe not. Honestly, I'm ready to move on into Vamp Timber, which we are now fully in, but just suffice to say, I finished Lace. It took me the entire month of August to read it because it's like 800 pages long. I loved every single page of it. It was so much fun and very trashy and smutty and wonderful, and a great soap opera, which I have not indulged in a while, and I really enjoyed it. As I did watching the mini-series on a double DVD that I got on Amazon. I couldn't find it streaming anywhere, but I'm glad I bought this. It wasn't that expensive, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's so good. And for my skit, I was going to be doing all the characters in their wonderful outfits, but like I said, I'm not up for it in this weather. Even with the AC going, it's still really hot in here. But definitely check it out. If you're my age or even a little younger, you probably remember this. It was a huge hit in the 80s, 1984. The book came out in 82. It was a bestseller, and the miniseries is very expensive. I mean, this is a worldwide drama that happens in Europe and in the United States. We're in New York, we're in Paris, we're in London, we're in the Middle East. I mean, everywhere. And incredible fashions. I really love the clothes and the hairstyles. Phoebe Cates, wonderful actresses, all beautiful. Brooke Adams, remember her? Beth Armstrong, and the French actress Ariel something, I can't remember. But I remember she used to do like foreign films that, she was like, and probably in some TV stuff too. Anyway, check it out if you're into that kind of stuff. It's campy, it's wonderful. So moving from campy to vampy, I thought I would talk a little bit about Vamp Timber. Maybe before I do though, I do have a couple little things. One is just a reminder, if you want to buy the first issue of Bookworms, we are down to just a few copies left, and then they'll be gone forever. The link is below if you want to check it out. My friend Patrick sent me for my birthday these lovely Shirley Jackson books, Raising Demons and Life Among the Savages. I think these are about like more comical books about raising kids, but with Shirley Jackson's flair for the macabre and comedy, maybe? I don't know. I don't know these books, but thank you, Patrick. That was really sweet of you. I also received for my birthday from a friend a signed copy of Clown in a Cornfield, Friendo Lives, a Clown in a Cornfield Part 2, signed by the author, Adam Caesar, which is really fantastic. I think I might save that one for October, which is a perfect Halloween read. And what else? I got a lovely birthday card from my friend Edie Lewis, who is also doing Vamp Timber. He's doing a really good series with poetry and all kinds of vampy fun. And then just a few more items from some of my friends who know what I like. This is from my friend Steven. I have to put the light on for my library shelf. It's kind of, you can't really see with that light reflecting, but it's a little skeletal couple dancing in a graveyard. Definitely putting me in the mood for Halloween. And I have also a couple jack-o'-lanterns. This one at least. Perfect for greeting my trick-or-treaters for Halloween. And we are in spooky season now, so we're having fun, even if it's really hot. It's only going to be gone for, here for a few more days, I swear. So let's talk about Vamp Timber. So Vamp Timber is, I don't know if I made it up or if it's my creation, but I mentioned last year when my book Code Red was released that I was going to read nothing but vampire books for the month of September. So I'm also doing that again this year. And I started off with a book that I'm already absolutely in love with, and that is The Woman in Black by M.Y. Halidom. This is a reissued classic, and I don't know when I got this or if someone sent this to me. If it was you, I apologize because I can't remember, but wow, is this good. It came out in 1913, I believe, so it is of that time period, and it is about a country gentleman who is determined not to get married, and he gets pulled in to a very scandalous, kind of deadly relationship with a woman in black, a mysterious woman who just happens to have claws for fingers and sharp canine teeth and all kinds of other scary things. Oh, and breath that smells like a charnel house. I love that line, but it doesn't stop him from kissing her. I'm only about 90 pages in, and I absolutely love it. I guess it's considered a novella. I think I will maybe even finish this today because I couldn't put it down. I had to stop myself to come over and make this video. And I was reading some of the reviews. Now maybe it gets worse. And there were quite a few, it doesn't have a very high rating, and there were quite a few DNFs because of its misogynistic language. And I had to roll my eyes to the ceiling. I don't know, maybe I'm just a little cranky because it's hot today, but were you paying attention in class when your English teacher talked about literary irony? Just saying. He's a woman hater, which makes him that much more vulnerable to the female vampire. That's what makes it fun and great and actually kind of comical. So I might be reaching those conclusions too soon, but I'd be interested into knowing if people were turned off by this book because of those idiotic reviews. And I don't mean to call you an idiot if you gave it a 1 star. Like I said, I'm a little cranky, but I read that and I'm like, okay, so my expectations were low, and then I went into it and I'm like, are you kidding? I love this. So maybe it's just me. Anyway, I probably should shut up now before I insult somebody. So I thought I would go through my vampire books. Now, this probably isn't all of them. I just pulled them off the shelf willy-nilly when I saw vampire, and I realized I have quite a lot of vampire books, and now I'm going to have to put them all back. I really need some reshelving days for this library. I've been working on a little bit. I moved my Nancy Drews into a separate spot, so I did do that. But I'm waiting for it to be a little cooler so I don't over-tire myself. But yes, we're all about the vampire. So let me go through my books and let me know in the comments below if you have read any of these. Because I've read quite a few already, but I still have a lot to go. And I won't get through them all. But I'm actually, after starting A Woman in Black, I've been very much interested in reading more classical literary vampire stories, older stories like Carmilla, like Bram Stoker's Dracula, and maybe that's because I just read Lace and I'm a little over that kind of thing. All right, so let's move on. This is a book that I absolutely love, and if you ever get a chance to find one in a thrift store, because I do believe it's out of print, grab it. This is In Search of Dracula, A True History of Dracula and Vampire Legends by Raymond T. McNally and Rada Florescu. I read this last year. I'll read it again. It's all about the history of the real Dracula on location in Romania. It's excellent. This is a very good book. Another thrift shop find. This is Dracula's Heir, an interactive mystery by Sam Stahl. It's one of those fun books that has whoops. I'm not turning to the right page here. It has little letters and books within books. I'm sure I covered this last year during Vamp Timber, so I don't want to drag it out, but lots of fun. This is one of my prized possessions, and I know there's a reissue of this with a different cover. This is Dracula, the definitive edition with illustrations by my favorite Edward Gorey. Okay, so this is in no particular order, just books that I grabbed. This is a Necroscope by Brian Lunley. This came out in the 80s. It's part of an entire series, and I have read this one, the first. I didn't continue the series, not because I didn't like the book. I just started reading other stuff, but I'll go back to it. It's really good. It's kind of like a Cold War spy thriller with a vampire and a necromancer. Yeah, good stuff. I have quite a few of these books that are anthologies of vampire stories. This is the Penguin Book of Vampire Stories, edited by Alan Ryan. Great cover. It's very long. In fact, maybe like The Women in Black is in here because it goes into like the history of the vampire lore. We have a fragment of a novel by Lord Byron, The Vampire by John Polidori, which I'm going to be reading after The Women in Black. I've read it before, but I got the audiobook. It was like $1 something on Amazon, so I grabbed that. Varney the Vampire. I've read most of these. Carmilla, which, oh my God, I loved. The Werewolf and the Vampire. No, not just, they're quite a few. Oh, Love Starved by Charles L. Grant. That looks interesting. Anyway, this could keep me busy for a while. Okay, so this is one I believe was a gift from my friend Patrick. He sent me so many books that I don't always remember, but this is Anno Dracula by Kim Newman, signed by the author. This one I really want to read right away, so I'm going to put it in the to-read pile. This is just a paperback I picked up, A Nocturne by Elaine Bergstrom. Looks like a fun read. This is The Vampire's Secret by Raven Hart. You gotta love that author name. Revenge never tasted so sweet. That looks like that could be fun. Here's another one. Every time I see a vampire book in the thrift store or used bookstore, the cheesier the better. I just buy them immediately, which is why I have so many. Near Death by Nancy Kilpatrick. He burns with dark desire. He is without mercy and always near death. With the success of Interview with a Vampire, there were a lot of vampire books that came out after that time. This one I've read, and it's Vampire Junction by S.P. Somto. I also read his book Moondance. This is like a rock and roll vampire. This was really good. I have the sequel, haven't read it yet. Here we go, Carmilla and the Haunted Baronet by Sheridan Le Fanu. I read that last year and absolutely loved it. It was so great. I might read it again. I have Carmilla on audiobooks, so maybe I'll do that. Wow, I wish I had read this yet, but I really haven't, and I'm ashamed to say. This is A Dead Until Dark by Charlene Harris, which True Blood was based on. This is one I picked up in a thrift store recently, or used bookstore. This is called Mina by Marie Kilrawley. The Dracula story continues with the story of Mina. I don't know if this is part of the same series, but it's the same author. Liana, Possession of a Woman by Marie Kilrawley. This looks like fun. The Best Dreams of Decadence. Vampire stories and poems to keep you up till dawn. E.D. Lewis did a Byron poem that I really liked. I wrote a sonnet called Dracula that I'll share with you sometime during Vamp Timber. Nice anthology. This is Whitley Strieber and called The Last Vampire. I'm pretty sure Patrick gave me this one. This may be a sequel to The Hunger. Okay, some more paperbacks. This is The Vampire de Sade by Mary Ann Mitchell. I picked that one up. I'm guessing this could be fun, but I haven't read it. This is more Whitley Strieber, Lilith's Dream, A Tale of the Vampire Life. He wrote quite a few books about vampires. I believe Patrick also gave me that one. This one I did read, and it was a lot of fun. The Making of a Monster by Gail Peterson. Gail Peterson is a member of one of my favorite all-girl rock bands, the Catholic Girls. They're still rocking. Maybe I'll see them. I saw them back in the day in the 80s. Maybe I'll go see them now that we're all old and still cool. Let's just put it that way. This is our friend Amy McCaw's Mina and the Slayers. This is the sequel to Mina and the Undead, and I've been meaning to read it, so I'm going to put it over here in the to-read Vamptember pile, and I'm going to really try to get to it. Okay, a few more paperbacks. This one I read, and it was very good, Hotel Transylvania by Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough. I did a buddy read with Alex the Bookubus several years ago. That was a lot of fun. This looks good. Sisters of the Night. 15 new original stories about female vampires and their prey. Edited by Barbara Hambley and Martin H. Greenberg. There's something about the female vampire that I find very intriguing. This was a fun book, and it really fell apart as I read it, but I really enjoyed this. And this is Thirst by Michael Sicilione. Pleasure, Pain, Hunger. It never ends. This was a really good novel and a really good vampire story. You might not know it from the cover, but you can't judge because it was excellent. Here's another fun 80s vampire, Sunglasses After Dark by Nancy Collins. Some vampires want more than blood. I think Matilda might have done a review of that. All right, this one is Night Prayers by P.D. Kasich, a vampire novel. I read this one a long time ago, and I'm trying to remember what I thought of it. It's all blending into one. All right, this is the Mammoth Book of Dracula, Vampire Tales for the New Millennium by a bunch of very famous authors. We've got Ramsey Campbell in there, Graham Masterson, Brian Lundley, and more. So maybe I will put this in the to-read pile because I'll just read a couple short stories for Vamptember. Again, here's another one, and I did read this one, Montague Summers, The Vampire in Lore and Legend. Excellent stuff. We have the Vampire Book, The Encyclopedia of the Undead. You know that you need this wherever you go. Anything you wanted to know about vampires, you'll find it in this book. Now, I know last Vamptember I read Tale of the Body Thief by Anne Rice and loved it, and I meant to continue with my Vampire Chronicles, so maybe I need to do that. This is Memnoch the Devil, the next book in the series. It might be very ambitious to put it over here, but I'm going to anyway. It's just, those books are long, and it takes, I'm not that fast of a reader like I used to be. I used to be able to zip through books like nothing, and I've been trying to read like an hour a day, but it took me forever to read Lace, so I don't know. Memnoch the Devil just fell off the couch and landed on my foot, so maybe that's Anne Rice's ghost telling me, you got to read that book. Here's another fun paperback that I've been meaning to read for years because the cover's so great, and that is Night Thirst by Patrick Whalen. I mean, come on, it's so fun. I'm going to put this over here just in case. And then these two books, someone sent me, the publisher, Vampires First Blood, Volume 1 and Volume 2. One is dedicated to the lords and one is dedicated to the ladies. So these are great books. I've read quite a few of these. These are your classic vampire stories. All right, this is the last of them. We have, of course, Salem's Lot by Stephen King. I think this is his only vampire story. Am I wrong? I haven't read all of Stephen King's works. I can't keep up with that man, but let me know in the comments below if he also wrote like other very specific vampire novels. Here we have a very nice book, Vampires of Lore, beautifully illustrated, and looks like a map of Transylvania. Let's see what's in here. Oh, you know what? I did read this. It goes in, this is like what is a vampire. It goes into like all the different parts of being a vampire. Blood drinking, cadaverous, stake through the heart, decapitation, fangs, becoming a vampire, sunlight, garlic mirror. Everything you wanted to know about vampires. Oh, this book smells good. I don't know if I read this cover to cover, but I know I dipped into it. And just a few more. We have Valentine, The Return to Vampire Junction by M.P. Samto, which is the next book in that series. There might be only 2 books in the series, or there might be more, I don't know. I'd read that. This is a great book, and a great movie, of course. The Hunger by Whitley Strieber. Got a nice hardback version of that with the dust jacket on it. One of my favorite vampire movies of all time. And then here, for fun, we have Anne Rice's The Vampire Lestat, a very nice graphic novel. Oh my gosh, look at this. Lestat rocking out. Try not to rip it. Gotta love it. And last but not least, we have The Vampire Companion, the official guide to Anne Rice's The Vampire Chronicles. So we are vamping out this month, and it makes me so happy because it definitely puts me in the mood for spooky season. So let me know in the comments below if you plan to do anything for Vamptember as far as dipping your teeth into a little blood of books or television shows or movies. I would love to hear your thoughts. So that's all I have for today. Stay cool out there, and I will see you next time in my haunted library. Bye!